Hello, welcome to something new and a little bit random. I have been thinking a lot about the pre-made neighborhoods lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with Pleasantview, telling my stories and playing around with the game. But my eyes have started to stray to the other neighborhoods. But the thing is that I have been playing with Strangetown and Veronaville so much throughout these years. Those three neighborhoods are basically what I've been playing with. And I'm curious what the other neighborhoods have to offer, because there's a lot to work with, really, that I haven't really tried out and a lot of themes to get to know. So I was in the middle of starting up a playthrough of Downtown when I realized that why don't I bring you along with me? Because there's something that my Pleasantview series has as a weakness, and that is the fact that I wasn't able to bring you with me while starting the neighborhood. I wasn't able to show you what steps I took to create Pleasantview, what I had to do to prepare it for my gameplay. There's a lot of things that I did to it before I started playing, after all, and a lot of things you can do in SMP to make things interesting, and not to mention making the Townies playable. And the thing with Downtown is that it's only Townies, so that's my thought process on this. So I am actually going to possibly make this into a running Let's Play series if you're interested to see it. Otherwise, I'm just going to bring you along while I start it up and then just play it myself. But anyway, just let me know if you're interested to see that, and I will adjust according to what you like. So first things first then, if I want to start out with Downtown, I'm going to have to create a new neighborhood. And of course, Downtown isn't its own neighborhood, it's a subhood. So I'm going to have to create just a random map here. I think I'm just going to take one that looks a bit like a city, I suppose. Yeah, I can take this one, it doesn't really matter. And I think I'm going to be able to name it Downtown. Let's see if it allows me. No, there can only be one neighborhood with a particular name. What a shame. So I'm just going to have to name it something random, I suppose. Well, the name of this template is Driftwood, so why not go with that? All right, so we're here in Driftwood. Just a random map. So yeah, without further ado, I'll just add on Downtown. Cool. And then we can just jump in. Nice. So here we are. This is going to be the hood that I'm going to play with. So first things first, there are some families in the family bin. And I've been thinking through these families. I haven't really played with a lot of them either, but I'm not particularly interested in most of them. The exception is this guy, Sid Roseland, that I am a bit curious about and I would like to try out playing, and I think that he would work pretty well in Downtown. So I'm going to keep him, but the other ones I'm going to delete. Nice. And this actually also works in my favor, because when I make the Townies playable, then I need to have a family to work with in order to get access to them. So the fact that I have Sid here is a good thing. I'm going to be able to use him later. So before I start, I have done some prep work before this, when I just thought that I was going to do it on my own. I have dug up all of the Downtownies, their true names, and put them into my spreadsheet. So here are all of them. We have both alive ones and dead ones added in here. There are some really cool backstories for, particularly for the Tricot family. That, yeah, most of them are dead. I've decided that I'm going to play out the storyline that makes 2 of them having survived the tragedy, whatever tragedy it was that happened to the family. And that is the 2 teens, Frikorith and Godin, or however you pronounce the names. So I'm going to actually resurrect those 2. But that's for later. So I have all of them here in my spreadsheet. And yeah, as I touched on, they do have some names that are the names from the character files, as I understand it. And every time you generate a new downtown, their names are randomized. So one of the first things that I'm going to have to do is go in and summon them in, check with the Sims Wiki who it is, if I don't know already, and rename them to the correct name. If I would have played this on my own, I think I would have done it anyway. Maybe I wouldn't have bothered, but I certainly want to do it now that I share this with you, so that you know what the sim it is I'm playing with. And I've also done some more prep work because, as you probably can guess, I want to not just have them randomly mill around in their own units. I want to actually have them in families, especially the teens and children. So I have done some planning here. And the first thing that I did was create a pivot table. I have color coded it a bit to make it easier for myself. But yeah, I can just show you how to do this quickly. I should be able to do this here. So just go to Insert, Pivot Table. And then if you switch over to the tab where you have all the families, you can just, yeah, take all of the rows that you have. And then click OK. And you're going to have a pivot table. And then you can add in whatever you want. So in my case, I added in skin color first, and then eye color, hair color, age I added in. I think I also had a male, female at some point. And then first name, last name. And then to make it look like this, you go to Design, Report Layout, Tabular Form. Then you have it, have them next to each other, and you can also remove the subtotals to not have to see that. And that actually can make it easier to decide what sims have similar genetics and who should be in a family. These guys, for example, all have the same dark skin, brown eyes, and black hair. So, I mean, that could be a good choice. But that wasn't the only thing that I did. I also dragged in some, or copied in pictures of all of them. So this is actually pictures of all of the Townies that I'm going to make playable. And yeah, I have sorted them by looks in part, but also by last name, because some of them had the same last names. And when they are next to each other like this, for example, these two, then that means that they are siblings. These two are going to be not married, I think. I think that I'm just going to make them like live together but not be married or even engaged. And then they're going to have their kids together. Other couples, I think I do want to be married. These, for example. And yeah. That's about it. And these four, I am not going to make related to anyone, because I don't really feel like all of them have to be related. It can actually be easier for them to find partners if some of them aren't related to other people, especially down the line with genetics and things. So that was my line of thought here. And when it comes to some of the Townies, who are teens with the last name teens, this guy, for example, this guy, this girl, they already have a father. If you're familiar with the Chico backstory, which is actually really cool, you know that these teens have a father who appears for them in their family tree, but when you go to his family tree, they're not visible. So it's not consistent. But I actually wanted to give them mothers as well, and proper last names, so they're not called teens. So that's why I have some elders who are mothers, some adults, and some who are married but who have children from a previous relationship. So that's somehow I'm gonna do that. So that's sort of the planning already out of the way. And I've also lined up the different families here that I'm going to create, so that I have that already prepared. This one I don't need to keep, so I can remove. So let me just bring this to the side for now. And first things first then, I'm going to have to rename all of the Sims the correct names. And technically I think I could do it in SimP, but the thing with SimP is that the pictures of the Sims aren't always generated, so it's going to be very difficult to see who is who. So I think I prefer to do it in-game actually. And I'm just going to put down a temp lot that I can use. So somewhere to move Sid in and start summoning in Sims. So I'm starting with adding in the move objects on cheat and snap to grid false as well, I suppose. And I'm gonna need the sim blender. And also I'm going to need this mod, that is the last name copier. That's gonna make the renaming process a lot quicker and easier. I think I also want to turn freewheel off temporarily, I think. And I probably also should put in a need freak just to lock the needs. Gonna switch pets on and set up all static 90. So I don't have to worry about the needs here. Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to enable the summoning menu and try to figure out which family contains the Townies. So Smith is usually the dogs, yeah. It's not default. This, oh no, it's not. This is probably the NPCs. And then we have an NPC, which is actually dogs again. Or pets rather. Zarubin, no, it's not that one. It's not the dots. Not Ternic, not Bendet. No. Yeah, it should be Garth. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and summoning the first sim. Okay, so this one I actually know who it is already. So I'm just gonna make her selectable. How do I want to do this? I think, because I do probably want to mark the ones that I've done somehow. No, I don't really need to do that when I think about it, because I can just keep them on the lot, even if it's gonna be, yeah, it should work. So her name, yeah, there it is, Rebecca Garth. So I'm gonna go to edit, enter first and last name. There we go. So she has the correct name, Rebecca Garth. I can make her unselectable, but I'm gonna keep her on the lot. So let's just summon in the next sim. Yeah, I know who that is as well. So that is, let me see here, Remington Jitmakesol. Good. And I'll literally just continue doing this. Yeah. And now I've just happened to get Sims that I already know who it is. But the idea is that if I do encounter one that I don't remember who it is that I should use the SimWiki. So that's this webpage. It's sims.fandom.com. And you have the search bar to the top left. And yeah, I can either go by like try to figure out in my notes a name I think if I have an idea who I think it is and I want confirmation, I can write Sion Phelps, for example, and click his name. And then I will get a helpful picture so I can see. But if I have no idea who it is at all, I can also do it like this. I can write down town, go to that page, and there should be, no, it's this one. Yeah, here it is. Townies. And then I get a long list of names and then I can click my way back and forth. Actually, I thought that I had, that there was also one with pictures and stuff. Maybe downtown is? Isn't that a thing? No. I must have dreamt it. But yeah, so this page is pretty useful as well to use for that. Yeah, so yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make you sit through me renaming all the Sims, so I'm gonna just come back when I've done the work. All right, so here are all the Townies, all in one place, and they are all renamed now. So I'm going to use the Sim Blender again, go to teleport, clear off all non-residents, and I'm just gonna hit play for a short moment. Good. Then there's another thing to take into consideration as well. If you go onto the Sims wiki and look at some of these Townies, you will notice that some of them have a little note about a broken face template. Long story short, 2 of the base game face templates aren't connected to all ages. So the pre-made Sims are all gonna look one way when they're young, and then all of a sudden when they become adults, they change into a completely different look. Something like that. If you played with Veronaville and you know who Hal Cap is, you know what I mean. It can be a bit jarring. And there is a good fix for it, but unfortunately that fix doesn't resolve the pre-made Sims. They already have this and they will also carry it on to their children. Luckily though, there is a fix for this, something that you can do if you use SimPE. And I've actually prepared in my spreadsheet what Sims have broken faces. And it is 4 Sims. It's Orion Teens, Rose Miller, Dominic Gray, and Tiave Teens. And yeah, I'll show you how to fix that. So if I start with Orion Teens, I need to summon him in again. So what you have to do is basically give him plastic surgery. If you have the Gussy Up cheat, you can simply click on him, use Gussy Up and plastic surgery. But if you don't, you can use the plastic surgery machine. It will work the same. But I'm just going to do the Gussy Up version. And here he is. This is what he looks like as a teenager. And this is the look I want to maintain when he grows up. So I don't know if I have to adjust anything for it to actually stick or not. So I just do this and then just back to the middle again. Wow, it's finicky. Now it's in the middle. So then I technically did something. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but better safe than sorry. So I'm just going to click OK. And that has given him plastic surgery. So this is the first step, and then I'm going to show you step 2 when we are in SimPE later. So I can dismiss him, clear off Orion, and I'm going to do the same to Rose Miller. Great. Next one is Dominic Gray. And the last one is Tiavetins. And by the way, if there's one sim that you don't like the looks of for some reason and want to make slightly different, this is also a way that you can change their looks and make it generic so that it carries on to their children. Any plastic surgery will do. Okay, good. So now I have done all of that. The Sims have the correct names, and the Sims with broken faces have received plastic surgery. So the next thing that I want to do, and this is just a personal preference, but I don't want the Pleasantview Townies to be included in this neighborhood because I've gotten to know them so well, and it wouldn't feel right to see Goopy Jill's Carbo wander around town and not be able to play him. So I'd rather get rid of him and the rest. I did contemplate actually adding in Goopy and Meadow because there are townies, downtownies with the same last names, with similar looks as well. So that would have been an option, but I just played so much with both Meadow and Goopy now that I don't want to do it again so soon. So I decided against it. But it's definitely an option. And the way that I go about getting rid of the townies that I don't want is probably not the easiest way. Because I know that there is like a downloadable version of a specific folder in the game files, and I was like, no, I don't have the patience for that right now. Let's just do it my way. So I'm gonna use my trusty sim blender and basically just summon in the townies and move them in and move them out. So that's the way I've done it, and that's the way that works for me. So I'm gonna do it that way. So yeah, it was the Bendette household. The important thing about this is that you don't want to end up with the children saved for last, because if you just have teens and children left at the end, they won't be able to move out on their own. So yeah, I learned that the hard way. So yeah, let's just start with some of them. And yeah, you can move out 9 at a time in one family. So 9 is what I'm going with. And I'm just going to go to family, move in, and then move them all in. Nice. And then I'm actually going to have to speed time along until the newspaper arrives so that they can actually move out. It should be pretty soon, I think. Yeah, here she comes. Amy Jones. And I'm going to have Marissa find own place here. Good. So they're going to move out and take some of Sid's money with them, but yeah, I'm going to fix that after. So I'm just going to ignore that. Great. So they have moved out of the lot, but they are technically still on the lot. So I'm going to save the game so I don't mess something up. I've learned that the hard way too. Because they are still, if you look at family move in, all of them are still available here. And if you start adding in more families add in more Sims to move in, it's very easy to misclick and add one of those people back into the family. And last time that happened to me, I wasn't able to save, so I had to redo everything. So what you can do is go to teleport, clear off all non-residents. And then they are not available here to move in anymore, so you can just restart. So I'm going to keep moving people in. Yeah, and same procedure, just gonna have them move out. And I'm gonna use clear off all non-residents. And I'm gonna save. Just in case. Nice. And yeah. just gonna keep going. So I'll probably speed through this so you don't have to see it. Ah, I think I might have made a mistake. I used Marissa Bendette to move out the first family, and the family was named Bendette, so now they're now they're in the same family. Oh, this is gonna be messy. Oh God. Yeah, I know it was teens and stuff. Yeah. I think I'm gonna, to make things easy for myself, I'm going to finish moving these people out. And then I'm gonna go into the neighborhood view and fix fix that family, and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, good. So then I can just go ahead and delete them. Just delete these guys. They're not gonna be available in the game anymore. And we're going back to Sid. I think that actually that I have that thing that I said that I wouldn't do. Just teens and children. But I think it's fine actually, because these aren't the only sims that I'm gonna want to remove. Actually, I also don't want the Pleasantview police officers, maids, and burglars to be the ones populating downtown either. So I'm gonna do the same thing with them actually. And I think I realized that Wilson was the one with the NPCs. So we should have, yeah, here's Lucy Hanby for one. Yeah, let's do them, and then I can do the burglars and police officers together. So let's just move these people in. And it's nothing bad will happen if I move them in and delete them. The game will just generate new maids and police officers and burglars when it needs to, so that's fine. That's the same thing that's happened in my Pleasantview when I've made Kaylin, for example, playable. Then it will generate a new maid to replace her, so it's no worries there. Good, saving again. And I'm gonna clear off all non-residents. All right, Wilson. Yeah, here they are. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else that I should remove, because if I want to, then now's the time really. So there are some sims here coming with the other expansions, but I don't think I really mind them too much, because I don't want to remove too many people from the hood either. Yeah, I think this is fine actually, so I'm just gonna move them in. And technically there are other NPCs that's also in Pleasantview, but I don't mind them as much because I don't really know them as much. So I'm not too worried about that. So yeah. Okay, good. Just gonna say one last time there, just in case again. So another thing that is good to do now that I'm going to make the downtown is playable and that I removed some townies, I probably do want to create new townies to replace them. So I'm going to shift click on Sid, spawn the NPC and townie maker. So I can set age, and I want it to be an adult. I think I'm just gonna make adults. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna randomize it. Question if I want to make... No, I think it's just, yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and generate townie. Okay, so we have one here. Joffrey not. Yeah, sure. We can keep him. So I'm just going to click the gun again and go keep. And that's going to add him to the Townie pool. And I'm just going to do it a couple of times. Sure, he looks fine. Yeah, sure. I feel like it's just pale sims and only male sims. Maybe I have to actually click random. Let's try that. And now it's different. Good. I'm just gonna randomize when I get that same looking Townie. I think I want some more women because I think that there were quite a few men in the beginning. Yeah, that should be okay. Now I have at least some Townies to replace the ones that I removed. Right, so yeah, I should be able to just leave Sid here. I'm just trying to think if I have done everything, but I think I have. So I'm actually going to save and exit the game, and then we're going to jump into SimPE. So just a word of caution before you use SimPE, make sure you have a recent backup of your game so that you don't, so nothing gets messed up and you can't restore it to how it was before. So do that before. Right, so here's SimPE. And I'm going to start by going to Tools, Neighborhood Browser. And yeah, Driftwood, open. And I'm just gonna allow it to load in at the bottom left. Nice. So here it is. And I think that I better go ahead and fix the broken face templates first, just that I don't forget it. So what you do is go to Tools, Neighborhood, Sim Browser. And yeah, I'm gonna uncheck Playable and check Townies. Click Name so it's in order. And I'm gonna look for Orion Teens. Yeah, as you can see, his picture isn't here. So if he would have had another name, I would have been in trouble trying to change the names in SimPE. Yeah, I get this beautiful picture. Yeah. So you go to More, Open Character File, and then you go to Facial Structure. And since I have put him through plastic surgery, there's going to be an instance 1, instance 2 here. And the instance 2 is the appearance he got after the plastic surgery. But the instance 1 is the genetic one. So what I want is to take the facial structure from instance 2 and overwrite it over facial structure instance 1. So the way to do that is clicking the number 2, right click, extract, and then I'm just going to save it onto my desktop. Just click save. And then it has created 2 different files, one that ends with SimPE and one, yeah, here's the one that ends with SimPE and one that ends with XML. So it's the SimPE that we want to use. So if I go up to the instance 1 instead, right click, replace, and then it asks me to pick what file. And then I click the SimPE file type, click open, and you can see that it the text became italics. That means that something was changed. So if I just hit save, it has now overwritten the genetic facial structure with the one he got from the plastic surgery. Good, so I can, now that I've opened up his character file, I'm not going to be able to go back to the neighborhood by clicking back or anything. as far as I know. So what I do is go to Tools, Neighborhood, Browser again. And then I have to pick my neighborhood. And it's going to load in. Nice. So Orion is done. And I'm going to go to Rose Miller and do the same thing. So Sim Browser. Clicking the name to sort it in alphabetical order. There, Rose Miller. And more, open character file, facial structure, number 2, extract. And I can just click save again. And it will ask if I want to overwrite the file already on the desktop. And I'm just going to click yes. So then the file on my desktop is now from Rose. So if I right click on the number 1, replace, and choose the SimPE file, it's going to be her appearance that it overwrites with. So now it's in italics and I know that it has been changed and I can just hit save. And I'm going back to the neighborhood. So Dominic Gray is next. And the last one is Tiavetins. There we go. So it's one of those that's not difficult to do. You just have to know how to do it, basically. Right, so all the broken faces are now repaired. So next then is to actually put together the families that I want according to this plan. And there's 2 steps to this. In part, I need to make them recognize each other as family. And I also need to fix their family trees so that when you click family tree, you can actually see in what way they are related to each other. So I think I'm going to just go back to this tab and go up to down. I'm going to save this one for last because that's a little bit different because I have to resurrect these. But yeah, let's start with the Landry family. And trying to think what is the best solution. I think I'm going to start with the family trees. And you access those on family ties. Click family ties. And then it is the blank family first. So you have to go pick the right one. And it was Garth. And the first one in the list is Warren Landry. It should be in alphabetical order, I think. Yep, here he is. So right now, he doesn't have anyone that he's related to. So I'm going to have to add in the people that I want. So the first one is Krista Matza. Here she is. So I'm going to right-click on her and add. And she's going to be added into his family tree. Right now, she's set to a sibling, but I want her to be married to Warren. So I'm going to go to this drop-down menu and change to spouse instead. And then, yeah, I'm going to make myself invisible so you can see. But down here, you have the commit button. So that's the one that you want to click on. And yeah, there's also a check mark there that says keep consistent. So yeah, if you click on Krista instead, you can see that Warren is already added as her spouse as well. So that's what it means that it's consistent. And you can also see that when I clicked commit, the family ties up here became italic. And that signifies again that something was changed. So next person is Celeste Midlock. And she's supposed to be their child. There she is. I can, if I want to not accidentally click away, I can, if I go back to Krista here, there's also a lock toggle here. So if I have it locked and click Celeste again, or anyone else, this page won't change. So that's a neat trick if you have to jump between families and pick out sims to add to the family tree, that you can lock the page you're on, basically. So I'm going to add her, and she's going to be child. Commit. And then also Shanna Landry. And she's also going to be child. Commit. So if I unlock this and go down to Warren, I also have to add in the children for him, because it's not automatically his children just because it's Krista's children. There we go. And also Celeste. Commit. Good. So if I now click Celeste, she has 2 parents, but no sibling. So I actually also have to add in Shanna as a sibling. Commit. Then if I click Shanna, she has her parents and her sibling. So all of that is fixed. So now everything is consistent when I click all of them. And that family tree is done. That's just the first step, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do all the family trees in one go. I'm just gonna save in between so I don't lose the progress. And in my file here as well, I think I'm gonna mark the first cell below the family name with a yellow color, just so that I know that the family ties are done, but not the relationships. So then I'm gonna move on to the Wilson family. So that's Lindsay Wilson. And I'm just gonna double check my planning here. Right, so she was supposed to be the parent of 2 teenagers. And that is Ash Aliotto. And it is Laurentines. I'm gonna change that to child. And change that to child. Commit. And then if I click Laurentines, you can see now here is what I was mentioning earlier, that he has some other siblings here. And he also has a father, John Smith Tricot. But if I would go into John Smith Tricot, let me just see if I can find him. Yeah, here he is. Then you can see that he can actually only see his children in this view, but he can't see that he has other children. He only sees Janail and Nislit, but not the other ones. So what will happen when I go to the Garth family and bring up Lauren again? Because I think it's pretty cool that it is like that, but I don't want it to be like that for my playthrough. So if I actually just click commit with the keep consistent checkmark checked and go commit, and then if I go back to John Smith, oh, actually that didn't work. That's interesting. I thought that Lauren would have been added then. I suppose I would have to do it manually then. Maybe I should just keep it as it is then, and just have it be a mystery for now. It wasn't as easy as I thought, so let's just hold off on that. I can do it later if I want to. So I was on the Wilsons, so Lindsay Wilson. Good, so she has both of them added, and Laurentines was gonna have... Yeah, Lindsay is his parent A, but he should also have Ash as his brother. Yeah, so there's another sibling. Commit. So if I click Ash, he has both his sibling and his parent. Good. So then I can also mark that yellow in my spreadsheet. And I'm gonna move on to the Gray family. Good, and Dominic should be Ray's brother. And also Nolan's brother. If I click Nolan, I need to add in Ray. Commit. If I click Ray, yeah, he has both his siblings. Perfect. So I'm going to save that. Mark yellow. And then I have Sion Phelps and Justice Anderson, who are identical. So obviously I made them twins. Yeah, they look exactly the same. I can show you actually. Here are they. They are just the same sim, basically. I don't know about their personality, though. It might be that they have completely different personalities. See on here. Commit their siblings, and I don't have to do anything more. And then we have the Custers. So we have Vamsi Custer. And she should be the mother of Swan teens. Gonna be child. Commit. And if I click Swan, then I can see that Vamsi is her mother. Perfect. And then we have the Walter family. Jessica Walter, who should be the mother of Orion. Nice. Saving. And Sadie Cosmocos, who should be Patrick Teen's mother. Good. And then we have the Raha family. Donte. And we should have Christy Raha, who should be his child. And also Abhijit Raninke, who should also be his child. Commit. If I click Abhijit, I also need to add in Christy. Yeah, and she's supposed to be his sibling, so that's correct. And if I click Christy now, she has a parent and a sibling. Perfect. So that's done. And then the Dalton family. And then I have the Toyonaga family, and they are a bit bigger than the others. And it also is a little bit more complicated because I don't want Carrie and Ash to be spouses. I want them to just have children together. So yeah, I'm going to have to do it a little bit different. So if I start with Carrie, yeah, I'm just going to start by adding in the children, I think. So Victor. Good. So they should be her children. And then if I pick Ash Creelman, I should do the same thing for him. So now if I click, for example, Asia, she has both her parents. But if I go to Ash, he doesn't have a spouse. So that should be correct. So I'm clicking save. Yep, they are just going to be siblings, so that's easy. Same thing with the Millers. Right, so we have Rebecca Garth. And she should be married to Mr. Giles Carbo. And they should have 2 children. Or well, they should have 1 child together, and then Rebecca should have 1 of the teens' children on her own. If I move to Chase, he should only have Travis. Good, and if I click Travis, he should also have Tiav as a sibling, though. If I click Tiav, he has his parent, and then Travis is also his sibling. Good. So that should also be correct now. And then we have the Waltons. Right, so Shanna should be Gretchen's sister. I'll show you the family. So it's this family that I'm working on now. So Shanna should be childless. Gretchen should have Kestrel. together with John Smith. And then she should have these two together with, what's your name? That guy, anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to start with her and make her siblings with her. And then I can move on. Shanna and Gretchen. Commit. If I click Gretchen, she should have Kestrel teens. Should be her child. And then, Grayson Butler should be her husband. And then they should have Tina and Amin together. Commit. And if I click Grayson, he should only have Tina and Amin. And then if I click Tina, she should have both Kestrel and Amin as siblings. Click Amin. You should also have Kestrel. Kestrel, she should have, Gretchen as a mother, and then also Tina and Amin as siblings. Perfect. Right, so then we just have the tricky family saved for last. So that is, well, actually, now that I think about it, it's not very tricky at all. Not in this step anyway, because the only thing that I want to do is make sure that Remington and Raynell are married. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go here, Remington, and I'm gonna lock that page, and I'm gonna jump into the default household, and I'm gonna find Raynell. There she is. Add, and she's gonna be spouse. Commit. Save. Perfect. So now all of the family ties are fixed. The next step is going to be a bit more intricate. And I'm not sure what the most efficient way is. I suppose it is just go family by family again. There's really two ways to do this, and both of them are pretty slow. So I'm trying to pick the one that's not as obnoxious. I think actually that possibly this version is the easiest way. So I'm going to go to Sim Relations. And I'm going to go to Warren Landry first. The upside to doing it this way is that it's quicker to go through the list. On the downside, when I fix his relationship with the others, it's not going to be consistent. So I can't do both of them at once, which is pretty annoying. You know, actually, I've convinced myself I'm going to do it the other way. So never mind this list. This is also a way that you can do it. You can literally go into, see if I can find him, Warren Landry towards Krista Matza. They were supposed to be married. So if I click this, I can change their relationship to spouses. I can change how much they like each other. So let's just make it very high. And then I have to check some check marks here. So they should have crush, friends, love, buddies, family, known, married. That's sort of the standard one that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go commit on that one, just so you can see the difference. So that's one way to do it. But then I would also have to go into Krista's page and do the same to her. So it's going to be a bit tricky like that. So the other option is to go to Tools, Neighborhood, Sim Browser. And I'm going to sort by name. And then click there. No, it's not the right one. Yeah, it is the right one, sorry. Warren Landry, open. And then I have him in front of me here. So if I click Relations, then again, it defaults to the blank family. So I'm going to have to change to Garth. And if they have a smiley face on them, it means that he knows them. That is related, but related doesn't really mean related. It means does this sim know this sim? That's all it means. So if I also check not related, it's going to show all of them, even if he knows them or not. So that's what that does. So if I find, first of all, Krista, they do know each other, so that's good. And you can see, if I remove myself, I think I'm hiding it again. There we go. So you can see that if Warren towards Krista is the change I just made. But Krista has no relationship to him. So I'm going to have to do the same here. Spouses. And I'm going to check all of the same check marks. And then go commit. And then I can just run through all of the relationships in the same family. And I can do all of them at once, instead of going back and forth in the list. So in that way, it might even be quicker doing it this way. So yeah, I've done Krista, and then it should be Celeste Midlock. He doesn't know her, so that's a good example. So what I have to do then is right-click on her, and then choose Add Relation to Celeste. And then she gets a smiley face, and they know each other. So then I have to change his relationship towards her is parent, and her relationship towards him is child. And I'm going to make the relationship pretty good to start out. So they should be friends, buddies, which is best friends, family, and known. And that is all I'm going to do for them. And just commit. And then lastly, it's going to be Shanna Landry. And he doesn't know her either, so I'm going to do the same thing, add relationship. And he's going to be her parent. She's going to be his child. Friends, buddies, family. Friends, buddies, family. And a good relationship. Commit. Good. And I'm going to save that. And since that is already fixed, I don't have to do any relationship with Warren anymore. So Warren is done. So I can actually mark, let me show you. I can actually mark him as green here. So his relationships are done. So I can move down to the next sim. That's Krista. I'm going to have to open her up instead. Neighborhood, sim browser. There, Krista Madsen. So if I go to Warren, wherever he is, for some reason he's not here, but I think if I just click not related and click not related again, maybe it's resetting. Yeah, it did. So that's that's something that you might have to do as well. So here you can see that their relationship is already fixed. On the other hand, her relationship with her daughters isn't. So if I click Shanna, she doesn't even know her. So I'm going to have to add that relationship. And then I'm going to do the same as I did for her with her father. Parent. Child. And a good relationship. Commit. And then we also had Celeste Midlock. Add relation. Parent. No. Child. Friends, buddies, family. Friends, buddies, family. Good relationship. Commit. Save. And then also Krista is done. So I'm going to mark her green as well. And yeah, as you might imagine, this is going to take a while. So once again, I'm not going to force you to sit through this. So I'm just going to do it. And then I'm going to come back when I'm almost done. I think I'm going to show you the last family, how I do that, because that's a little bit different than all of the others. But yeah, I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. And I've done all of them. And I have Remington, Jitmakusol left to do. And yeah, he needs to be married to someone who's not in the same family here. So I'm gonna have to change that to... I've already opened him up, so to say. So I'm on his page, and I'm going to relations. And then I'm changing to the default household. And I'm looking for... Here she is, Raynell. I'm going to right-click, add relationship. And yeah, they should be spouses. Crush, friends, love, buddies, family, and married. And of course known. But they already were that, so... I'm gonna bump up their relationships. Commit. Nice. Now he knows her. That means that he can also resurrect her. So since I also wanted to resurrect 2 of the Tricot family teens, what I have to do is make him know them as well. So here's the first one of them, Godwin. So I'm going to right click, add relation. That's enough. I don't have to do anything else. Same thing with the second one. Here he is. Here he is, Fricorith Tricot. Nice. So now that he knows them, you can see the little smiley faces on them, then yeah, I'm not going to have any issues with... Oh, I must commit first, I think. There we go. Perfect. Don't forget to commit. And yeah, so that is it. Now, something that I also did in Pleasantview is that I went in to the families and added in secondary, or not dominant, but is it called regressive genes? But yeah, as for example, let's see if I have one here. I think I've actually been pretty thorough with the genetics this time. But yeah, here, for example, you can see that this kid has brown eyes. I say you can see, but you probably can't see, but I can just barely see it. I think, at least. I can also double check it here. So yeah, he's Victor McClellan. His red hair. No, he actually has brown. Yeah, he has brown eyes. That's what I said. Right. So he has brown eyes. And his sisters has green eyes, as has both his parents. So what I could do is add in the regressive gene for brown eyes to, well, all of these sims, I suppose. And also their father has black hair. So I would be able to add in recessive genes for black hair to these kids. And also he has the medium skin tone, and she has the dark skin tone. So I could add in the medium skin tone as regressive to him and her, and then the dark skin tone as regressive to her. So that's an example of what I could do if I want to mix it up a bit. And I think I might want to do it, actually. It is worth the time it takes, I think. I think I'm just gonna go roughly by the pictures and see what I need to do, honestly. And I don't think I'm gonna do all of them. Just where I think it makes sense. Also, if you play Pleasantview, it might actually be worth just going through the genetics of all of the Townies, because some of them have colored hair, surprisingly. And you won't notice that otherwise until they have children. One of the more memorable times that I can recall on the top of my head was Andrea, what is her real last name? Andrea Hogan and Jason Menon. They had a kid, and I couldn't figure out why they only got like red-headed kids and blonde kids when both of them have black hair. It turns out that Andrea is a blonde, actually, and Jason is a redhead. So it might be worth just running through them if you do care about that, to see what their genetics are. So I could just start out with, I don't think I'm going to worry about the elders. These are also done actually, so I can mark them green. But taking a look, for example, at Celeste Midlock, looks like she has green eyes and black hair, so that's what she should have genetically. And I should also bring up a guide, if I can dig it out. Yeah, here's a guide that I have been using in the past for modifying genes. And I think there's a list here. Yeah, exactly. For this is for hair. And then eye colors are here. And skin tones are here. So I can leave a link to this guide if you want to have it. It's very useful. I'll leave it in the description. But yeah, so I'm going to take that one to the side. And if I start with Celeste Midlock, so I'm just going to be in the sim description page and look for Celeste Midlock. So this is an alternative to going to Tools, Neighborhood, Sim Browser. You can actually just use sim description and then click from one to each and then scroll up and down the list. That might actually be quicker. I only just found it after I was done, so yay me. Yeah, so Celeste, I have to go to more. Open Sim DNA. So this is her DNA. So you see you have the dominant gene at the top and then the recessive gene at the bottom. So her eye color, I'm just going to check the list here to see which one it is. So yeah, it's green, both dominant and recessive. So looking at her family though, so Krista Matza, for example, has light blue eyes. That's interesting. I might want to add in that. That's sweet somehow. So light blue has this code. I'm copying that. And then I am overwriting the recessive eye color with that code instead. And clicking commit. That means that her children now has a chance of getting light blue eyes. And looking at the skin tone, the family that I put her in is only the darkest skin tone. So I'm not going to make a recessive for that. There's also something called the skin tone range, but I'm not sure how to use it. So I'm just going to not mind that. But then hair color, I think I'm gonna keep hair color as well because both her and her sister have black hair and the elders just have gray hair now, so I don't think that matters much. So I'm just gonna keep that. And yeah, I've already clicked commit, so I can just save. Then I should be able to go back to sim description. Yeah. And I'm actually going to go down to her sister, Shanna Landry. There she is. More. Open Sim DNA. And she actually also has green eyes. But what I saw was that their father, Warren. See, Warren Landry. Yeah, he has brown eyes. So I think that it would be nice if instead of light blue, that she could have the recessive gene for brown eyes. So I'm gonna pick out that one instead and exchange this. Just commit and save. Just trying to check if there's one that stands out. Yeah, I think that's Swan Teams. She's over here. This is Swan, and Vamsi Custer is her mother, and she actually has a lighter skin tone. And I think perhaps another eye color. So let me see here. Where do we have Swan? Here she is, Swan. So she has black hair, brown eyes, and a tan skin tone. Whereas I suppose, yeah, Vamsi has, she was a blonde actually, though, but I'm not gonna add that. She also has brown eyes though, so that's no change, but she has the lightest skin tone. So I think I'm gonna add that as a recessive gene to Swan. Yeah, for the skin tones, you can just change. It's not this custom sort of code that the eye colors are. It's actually just changing the number. So if I change the number 2 to number 1 here, then it's a lighter skin tone. And if I change it to number 3, then it's the medium, and then number 4 is the darkest. So I can just do that. Going back here, I think that, yeah, Orion could probably have a recessive for brown eyes, I think. Let's see. So Jessica Walter is his mother. And yeah, she has brown eyes. So I think I'm going to do that. There. And adding the recessive brown eyes. Commit. Save. I think these are fine. Yeah, for this, I suppose I could add in a darker skin tone as a recessive to them. They have glasses on, so I am not sure what about the eye color. It's Dante Raha. He had red hair, technically. He has green eyes, actually. Abhijit has light blue, so he could get the green genetic. And Christy has already green eyes. So I think I'm gonna just add in the medium skin tone to her. So it's 3. Commit. It was Abhijit. So needed to have the medium, and then he needed to have the green recessive for eyes. I think that these guys look so similar, so I probably don't have to do anything with those. I think I'm gonna do them as well. So that is yeah, the Dalton family. So Tyler Dalton, there. He had gray eyes. Has gray eyes, I mean. And Ivy Butler has dark blue. So she can get the recessive for gray and also recessive for medium skin tone. So let's start with Ivy. Right, so first gray eyes. And oh, I don't think I did it right? Or is it supposed to be longer? For some reason there are question marks added in. Don't know if I did something wrong with pasting it. Yeah, that should work, I think. I don't know why that happened, but okay. And the skin tone was number 3. Yeah, perfect. And then if I look at Haley Dalton, she's actually pretty much identical to her bigger sister, older sister. So yeah, I can do the same to her actually. Again with the question marks. I guess I'll just remove the question marks. I don't remember having this issue last time. And then change this to 3. Commit. Right, and this family, of course, that I took as an example. Yeah, here they are. Yeah, so it's Victor, Dagmar, and Aisha. So let's start with Victor. Right, so he has brown eyes, and I want him to have recessive green eyes. And yeah, he has the darkest skin tone, so I want him to have recessive medium. And again with the question marks. Right, so after Victor it's Dagmar. Oh, again, medium there, and she has actually gray eyes, interestingly enough. But I think that she also wants to have recessive green. And lastly, Asia. She has dark blue eyes, so it's a bit of a mix here actually, but I'm gonna give her green as well. And yeah, recessive for the darkest skin tone. Perfect. So that's that family, and I could do the siblings, but I think I don't want to bother with those. But these two kids, I think, should want... Question is what her eye color is. It might be green, so then it's the same as Kestrel here. Yeah, I think that's fine. So I'm gonna just go with these two. And that's Tina and Amin. I'm gonna start with Tina. Right, so her eyes are light blue. And looking at her parents, Grayson Butler, for example, he has gray eyes. And Gretchen Walton also has gray eyes. Yes, it's gonna be recessive gray. Right, and I think that I'm gonna make it... Yeah, it's gonna be the lightest, recessive lightest skin tone. Oh, I just realized that I forgot about the hair color on the other ones. I'm gonna go back and fix that because I do want them to have recessive black hair. But for these guys, or for Tina, I want her recessive hair color to be blonde. Right now she has black hair, of course. So number 3 is blonde. And then if I go instead to Amin, he already has gray eyes. But his sister had, was it light blue or dark blue? Let me check. Light blue, so I'm gonna give him recessive light blue eyes. And then, yeah, he's gonna have the recessive light skin tone. Yeah, and also the hair color. So he has recessive blonde right now, but I want him to have recessive black. Oh, sorry, commit, then save. All right, so I'm just gonna go back to Victor. Right, so he has red hair, which is number 4, but I want him to also have recessive black hair. And then same thing with Dagmar. And lastly, Asia. All right, I think that that is good enough, really. From the spot check I just did, it looks like the Sims have the correct hair colors in downtown, but let me just do one more. So let's just spot check Lily Thayer. Let's just see, does she have blonde hair? Yeah, she does. She has blonde hair. Okay, then I'm just gonna go ahead and trust the Townies because my stamina is getting pretty low. I've been doing a lot of work here. Yeah, so the families are fixed. The broken face templates are fixed. The recessive genes are fixed. So the next step then is to go back into the game and yeah, summon in and move them out into families. And I also need to somehow keep in mind not to save them into families with the same names, because I'm gonna have to use the family funds cheat to give them a proper amount of family funds later, and then they have to have unique family names. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna pop back into the game. So, well, I'm just gonna go family by family. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go this list up and down, skipping over this for now. I'm gonna save that for last. So I'm gonna start with the Landry family. And this is really where I have to consider also the family units. I'm gonna give you this again. Also the family units that I've created, because if we take the Landry family as an example, I am going to want to make the parents and the teenager part of the same household. But I also want the eldest daughter to not live with her parents anymore. So she's not going to move together into the same unit. I'm actually thinking that I probably want her and her and her to not live with their families. And I think that I'm going to do some sort of constellation of two of them living together with each other. So, for example, these two and these two could be. Then I also have some guys who should be alone. These three, because I think that the siblings should live with each other. And then I have her. That's the diva. And she's going to be filthy rich. So I think that she should just live alone. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. So if I just start with the Landrys, I'm actually gonna remove the green marking in my spreadsheet so I can use it again to mark the ones that I have already moved instead. So I don't make any mistakes. And yeah, also Shanna. Yeah, I'm gonna move all of them in. And then if I take a look at Krista, for example, I can see in her family panel that she is married to Warren and she has 2 daughters. And if I took a look at her family tree, I can see that she is the mother of 2 daughters and she's married to Warren. So all of that has worked perfectly. And similarly, his relationship panel is also like this. And same thing with her as well. So everything is consistent. However, something that's not consistent is the last name. So her name is Landry, his name is Landry, but her last name is Matza. So I'm going to change her last name with this painting. Enter last name, Landry. So now all of them have the same name. And I'm also going to change that in my spreadsheet on this tab with all the sims. So instead of Matza, it's going to be Landry. And I'm going to sort from A to Z. And then we have the Landrys in order here. So all of that is fixed. And I'm going to have them find their own place. Oh, there's a carpool here. I suppose someone had a job. All right. And I'm just going to save just in case. Right, moving on to the Wilson family. And I'm going to move them in. Right. I have to start to be careful now to remember to clear off the non-residents after. But now it's few enough that it's no worries. So it's Lindsay, it's Ash, and Lauren. There we go. Now I'm gonna check also the relationship panels. Yeah, so she has 2 children. And yeah, you can see that Lauren... this is interesting actually, because Lauren only recognizes his father and his father doesn't recognize him. So I think something might be off with that. So I do actually need to double check in CMP after this so that Lauren isn't... something is wrong with him. So I need to just make a little marker. Lindsay, not in tree. All right. But he does recognize her as family, so that part has worked. It's just the family ties that something is up with, so I need to double check that. But good, then I can mark them green in my sheet and move them out as well. And oh, wait, before I forget, of course, their last names. So they have to be Wilson. So I'm going to change both of the boys' names. There we go. So now they're the Wilson family. Good, and now I'm gonna remember to clear off all non-residents. Nice. Right, then we have the Gray brothers. Good, and I decided that they should be named Gray rather than Flake or Cosmocos. So unfortunately, Ray is gonna be Ray Gray, but I'm kind of fine with that. So yeah, good. Yeah, so I'm marking them green, and I'm gonna have them move out. Just gonna save in between. Oh, I just realized that I forgot to double check their family tree. I wonder if I can quickly summon in. I wonder, where are they? They don't have their own family, so maybe I can't do it now. So I'll just have to check it later. Yeah, next family. It's actually the Landry family, so maybe it just takes a bit of time. So I just have to be patient. Yeah, they are properly brothers. Good. And their last name should be Phelps, so I'm gonna change Justus' last name. Good, marking them green. And moving them out. Actually, it's the same issue with Swan. Yeah. Looks like something is up here with all of these teens. Because they do recognize their siblings if they have them. But they don't recognize their mothers. So I wonder if something maybe is different here that I don't know about. So I think I'm going to have to look into that instead after. So then I know it's not just one of them, it's all of them actually. So I think I'm just going to make a note that teens, mothers, not in tree. But yeah, so I need to change Swan's last name to Custer. And they're going to be the Custer family. Yep. It's the same, but yeah, it looks like it's working well here anyway. So I need to change Orion's last name. Moving them out. Yeah, and Patrick's last name is going to have to be Cosmocos. I find this last name so funny because there was this kids program on the TV when I was a kid that I saw in the weekends called Dr. Cosmos. And this reminds me of that name. It was, it was a series of a veterinarian who was riding around on his, oh God, what is that name in English? Flakmoppe, helping animals. So yeah, it was a cute series, but this last name reminds me of that. But now I'm gonna have new associations when I start playing with these Sims, so that's a good thing, I think. Oh, they actually aged one day, so I'm gonna see if I can quickly one day younger Sadie. Yeah, it worked good. Yeah. I should also probably set our 9. Oh no, actually, Christy, I didn't want to move together with her father, so I'm going to clear off Christy. But I do want Abhijit to live with his father. Even though he's an adult, I kind of think it would be sweet if they live together. So, and I'd rather not have Dante be alone. The family tree looks good. Yeah, and his last name needs to be Raha. And they're moving out. Ah, right. Same thing with Ivy, actually. So I'm going to clear off Ivy. And only the younger daughter, Haley, is going to live with her father. Good. This has worked as well. And yeah, both their last names actually is Dalton already, so I just have to move them out. Good, and I'm gonna take a look at this. Exactly, so they are having a crush and they are in love, but they are not married. So they don't have the family icon either. Oh, this isn't right though. Yeah, the children don't recognize each other as siblings. So something has gone wrong there that I'm gonna have to look into. It could be possibly because I didn't make these two married. Actually, maybe I have to set them as spouses in the family ties even though they aren't married. That might actually make sense. So I'm gonna try that. That should solve the problem now that I think about it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna write down a note for that as well. So it's the Toyonaga family. Right. So I don't want them to be married though, so I should be able to keep both their names different. And I do think that I want the children to have Carrie's last name, so Toyonaga. So I'm going to change that for all of them. Good. So now all of them have her last name. And they can move out. Good. So these guys are sisters. And I need to change Lakshmi's last name to Phelps. Good. And they can move out. The newspaper is moving further and further away. I think actually I'm going to move the newspaper. Come closer. Right. And in this case, I'm going to rename Lily to Miller because I don't want to use the Thayer name. It reminds me too much about Meadow. Nice. And they can also move out. Right. And I'm going to take a look at the family tree. These guys are married, so that's fine. And he knows that that's his brother. That's perfect. And she knows that that's her son, but he doesn't know that that's his mother. Okay. Yeah, but it's consistent now that I know what it is. And similarly to the Thayer name, I also don't want him to be Giles Carbo, so I'm going to rename this family to Garth. Okay, so his relationship I probably forgot to commit or something, so I'm going to erase that slightly. Probably same with him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not saved, so I'm going to just bump it up myself here, making it consistent. Yeah. Oh, wrong sim. Yeah, no, it looks good. And looking at the family tree, good. She knows that that's her sister, her husband, her children. Perfect. Yeah, and these ones I wanted to name Walton because that's her name and her sister's name. And yeah, I'm going to rename him. I'm going to set her to 9 again just so that I don't get the aging problem. But I'm almost done. So yeah, I need to get a Remington. I've decided that I'm going to give him the last name of his wife, Ninja. And wow, he has massive attraction with the diva. That's ironic. Okay, but yes, so I'm going to just have him move out on his own. Yeah, sometimes when you only just change the name, the order is wrong when you hover over the portrait. But yeah, Remington Ninja. Good. He's done. Yes. So we now have Celeste Midlock, Christy Raha, Ivy Butler, and Shanna Walton. And then also Ian Byle, Zach Sarter, Samuel Shahan, and Cara Livingston. Her first. She is good as she is. So she just needs to find her own place. Ah, no. I clicked the wrong one. Full prop. Control pets on. Can I... can't make stray. Can I, if I take out the sim manipulator, can I make her a stray then? Yes. Turn sim into stray. Allegra. Perfect. Right, so let's start with Celeste. Her last name should be Landry. And Christy Raha is correct. Ivy should be Dalton. And Shana is correct. So now I have a problem. And that is what I mentioned I didn't want earlier, to have two families with the same last name, so that there are two families sharing names, so I can't use family funds. Typical. You know what? I can do this. Motherload. And then when they move out, they will take a portion of that. And then I can... yeah, that should be better at least. So I'll have to see. But yeah, so who should I put together? I mean, it would be natural for the two girls with the same hairstyle to be together, I suppose, but that also seems a bit boring. So yeah, why not make it Walton and Dalton, Raha and Landry. So she can move out with Ivy. Good. And then if I just set money to 50,000 again, the same thing should happen again. Perfect. Yeah, then I also have only have the single guys left. Yeah, good. And yeah, I shouldn't change any of their last names. So question is whose last name I want the family to be. Let's go with Sartor. Nice. They are also done, and all of the sims are split up into families. And I have fixed the last names, although not in my file properly, but I have fixed it in the game. So yeah. Next step is just to save this and go back to the neighborhood. And I'm going to move out Sid. And I need to bulldoze the temp lot. And then I need to check here, because I think that there were some families that I didn't delete yet, that I need to delete. Or the Townies that I didn't want. Yeah. So here we have the Langrak family. Those I need to delete. And I also have the Love family that I need to delete. Yeah, and that's it. These are all the families then that I need to work with. So I think that the last thing that I'm going to do before I leave off this episode is make this guy extremely wealthy. Let's say 500,000. That's wealthy enough, right? And I'm gonna move him into the House of Fallen Trees. Nice. So here is the house, and the graves are out back here. So I'm just gonna bring out... I have already the sheet object unlocked to call the Grim Reaper, but if you don't, then you can use a cheat to unlock career rewards. You can also shift click on a newspaper if you have the bullprop testing sheets enabled true on, and pick unlock career reward. And I think you can pick what career you want with the newspaper, and then you can get this. So it's gonna call Grim Reaper. If you can stop picking his teeth, that is. Thank you. Yeah, I noticed this previously as well. The animation on this is not not perfect. Yeah, so he's gonna start with his wife. 10,000 to make sure that she's not a zombie. Yep, thank you. Perfect, and here she is. Nice, and she already has her wedding ring on, so that has worked. They are married, and this looks correct. Perfect. So he's gonna resurrect the children as well. Right, so here is Frickorith. Resurrected. Or Frikorith, maybe. I need to learn how to pronounce those names. And Godin. Nice. And that is what I wanted to do. So taking a look at the family tree here, you can see that they are cousins. But all of their family is going to remain deceased. And yeah, my idea for this is that basically Remington and his wife are going to be sort of their guardians. But yeah, I'm going to have to work out that plot line, how that is happening. But that was my idea for this family. So yeah, that was actually pretty much the setup for this, I think. Now I have all the families playable. I do need to go in with the family funds and figure out the money. I do want to make, obviously, Mr. Big, but also the diva very wealthy. And then I thought that the families who contain a slob should be very poor. That might be interesting. But then I think the others should just be like either just starting out their adult lives, so they shouldn't have a lot, or already an established family that should have a little bit, but not extremely wealthy. And of course, you know, just renovating the hood and basically starting to play the game from this point on, I think. So yeah, let me know if you'd be interested to see me do that. Otherwise, I'll just get going on my own and sink my teeth into this hood, because I've been a little bit obsessed with this lately. I really do want to get to know these sims that I've only seen in passing before. So I'm actually really excited for that. So yeah, I hope that this was enlightening. This was mostly what I did to set up Pleasantview. I did some things to make Dina pregnant with Michael Batchelor and things as well. But mostly it was basically what I did. Trying to think, yeah, I also moved in, of course, Ophelia Nigmos from Strangetown, and I moved in Malcolm Landgrab from Blue Water Village. But yeah, that's a whole other story, I think. So thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it, even if it was a lot of clicking around in systems and not playing the game at all, basically. But yeah, I hope that you found it enjoyable anyway. So take care. Speak to you next time. Bye.